We just had a video on villain team-ups, so I figured that a continuation to that seems apt. After all, there's just something very special about anime villains. It's almost a trope now that a lot of them can transform in various ways. Others go from monstrosities into handsome men and women, while others just do the opposite. Some just go straight up into Final Fantasy boss territory in terms of appearances. However, not all transformations are created equal. Some are more impactful than others. So for today, I'll be going through what I think are 10 of the most impactful and memorable villain transformations in anime. Alright, strap in tight, we're in for one hell of a ride. JoJo has no shortage of transformations that go from cool to downright bizarre. Among them, I think that the transformation by the leader of the Pillar Men is one of the coolest ones. It checks out when you think of it. Kaz is known as the ultimate life form, and his ability as the ultimate life form allows him to take on the traits of any life form. Just as he gets fired at by the Nazis, it's Kaz who comes out on top by donning his stone mask, transforming into his most well-known form. The massacre that follows is just the icing on top. The ultimate life form has been unleashed, and this moment will forever be etched into any JoJo fan's memory as one of the pivotal turning points in battle tendency. You saw this coming now, didn't you? I mean, what else did you expect from a character whose entire gimmick is some sort of transmutation? Overhaul's entire shtick comes from his ability to keep transforming things with his quirk, and of course, that includes himself. And boy, what a scary set of transformations he had as he battles our heroes. Indeed, that's the most fearsome part of Overhaul's powers. Nothing is safe from his power of reassembly, not even your quirks. He may not have the reputation or the legacy that someone like All For One had, but you'd be a fool to underestimate a supervillain with this kind of versatility. It all culminates in his ultimate transformation into his red kaiju form. He meets his end at the hands of Deku, but it sure took one hell of a chain of battles for Overhaul to be defeated. Gave us some of the best animation we've seen in the season too. How appropriate that right after Overhaul, we have another character with a suspiciously similar gimmick in Jiggle Dyke. Yep, two masters of transformation and assimilation back to back. While transformation works a bit differently in the God of High School universe, I think that Jiggle Dyke's way of doing it is quite neat. I mean, at the end of the day, we're talking about a person who can ascend into the realm of the gods, and he uses this angelic form to engage Jin Mori in the last stretch of the season. He dons an appearance that would put some JRPG bosses to shame with how majestic and intimidating it is. It's not so much monstrous, but there really is a sense of wonder at the form that he decides to take. Then you get to see his powers in action. Not for too long for a supposed season final boss, unfortunately. The transformation kind of fell flat because of the ease in which Jin Mori destroys him. I mean, with an appearance like that, I think he can put up a bit of a fight, don't you think so? On the other hand, rule of cool is a thing, and I don't think that anyone else in God of High School comes with a second form that looks as cool as the angelic form that Jiggle Dyke had in the series finale.
生きるってのは
One Piece's 912th episode gave us one hell of a transformation. We've known Kaido to be a monster of a villain, and you know what makes him even scarier? A scary transformation, of course, one that resembles a very, very intimidating blue Shenron. Just like a good villain who prides himself on power, Kaido releases some blood-curdling screams while he transforms into his dragon form. He then proceeds to emerge out of nowhere to shake fear in the hearts of all those who oppose him. The transformation was cool enough, but once you add the entrance to the mix, whoa. Seriously, with this powerful of an entrance and that mighty of a form, how could anyone stand up to him? I really don't know how anyone could beat this, honestly speaking.
あいつがカイドウ
Coming up next is Ragyo from Kill La Kill. For a show with such a major focus on transformations and outlandish outfits, it's a no-brainer that the ultimate villain would be rocking such transformations of her own. We've got a lot of memorable moments, such as the outfit swaps between the sisters and Ragyo rocking Junketsu. However, I think that her peak transformation moment comes when she puts on her ultimate outfit, Shinra Gogetsu, donning an appearance that puts every other life fiber transformation to shame with how outlandish it looks. Ragyo terrorizes the heroes in this new form. The symbol of Ragyo's desire for world domination doesn't disappoint, as it showcased some hilariously overpowered abilities right after easily defeating even our main heroines. And even after its defeat, Ragyo still manages to use it in its space shuttle form to further her plans. The great thing about this transformation is that it happens at the end of an episode, providing one of the best cliffhangers the series has. Given how Kill la Kill has got a lot of great cliffhangers, that's saying something. I think that seeing Shinra Gogetsu is probably one of the most hyped I've been for an upcoming episode. Well, while we're on the topic of villains, you know who anime fans consider the true villains? Region locks, of course. That's why we have our great hero and the sponsor of this video, ExpressVPN. It's the premier VPN service that will allow you to bypass those pesky region locks and enjoy shows you wouldn't normally be able to access legally. I started using ExpressVPN and I never looked back. I recently used it to watch some Kill la Kill fights. Just open ExpressVPN and select the United States server and boom! Now you can use it to watch hundreds of different anime which aren't available in your region. And it does all of this without slowing your internet speeds down whatsoever. I can stream anime with blazing fast speeds in HD quality and never experience any buffering. With ExpressVPN, you can also browse the internet with the maximum security that a VPN can provide. That includes hiding your location and protecting you against a scourge of attacks on privacy that are becoming more and more prevalent as the days go by. And all you have to do is head on to my description box and follow the instructions to download ExpressVPN, or just go to expressvpn.com/VinnyTube. With ExpressVPN, see a brand new internet without limits. Start your trial on the #1 VPN service now.
これが陸道の力か。
For all the lists that he topped on this channel, I think it's a breath of fresh air seeing Madara at the midway point of the list. No one wins forever, even if you're one of the most broken villains ever created. Madara may only be 5th on the list, but I think that his transformation is a key event in the final arc, being the one moment where I thought the good guys were legitimately screwed. As if they weren't already. Well, Madara's about to make it worse. After absorbing the power of the 10 tails, Madara goes on to unleash his 6 paths transformation, gaining white hair and an edgy new redesign. No wonder he had to be written out through some plot convenience. I'm glad I just mentioned shonen villains that were so overpowered they had to be defeated by plot convenience, because up next is Aizen. Aizen, as a character, is all about transcending limits and achieving godhood in a sense. This in turn is represented by his constant evolution and transformation, some sort of natural selection logic if you will. The end of the Fate Garakura town saw a minimum of 3 Aizen forms in the long battle, and I think that the best one among them is the second one. The second one? Yes, the one where he emerged out of the shell thing with a mullet and butterfly wings. I think that it ended up being his most memorable form, and it represented the perfect turning point in the battle that had largely been going in Soul Society's favor until that moment. It's just the perfect form for a being about to ascend into godhood, a cross between the image of a divine being and a human. Technically speaking, his actual final form is way more intimidating and is the stuff of nightmares, but that form just lacked the charisma that this one had. Not to mention, it barely did anything anyway. We continue on with the shonen train for our top 3 with the next contender, Broly. Dragon Ball's always been about transformations. It's the easiest way to show a power-up after all, and the show's just rife with those. I can put Cell's forms on the list. I could put many boosts here. Heck, even Frieza deserves a spot. And those are just the major villains, not even getting to the minor ones. And then of course, there's Broly. I want to give Broly the spotlight here because I feel his transformation carried a lot of impact. I mean, the same can be said for the other major villains I mentioned, but from a personal perspective, I feel like Broly elicited the strongest reactions from me. The first appearance from the old movie is already something. I mean, he's brought freaking Vegeta to his knees in fear while needing everyone's combined powers to lose. Then there's the Dragon Ball Super transformation. It's not too often that you see a villain transformation carry this much impact due to the voice acting. This is a scene that still gives me chills when I see how Broly Broly screams as he completes this transformation. You can tell that the heroes are screwed with how intense this moment is, and Broly didn't disappoint. 2 movies, 2 different eras, both badass and spine-chilling transformations. Broly truly knows how to make an impact.
闇の翼ゼムと
I've talked about this moment a couple of times before, but I think that Griffith completing his fall into Femto is still one of the most powerful moments and transformations in anime. Griffith has been through a lot, and during the eclipse, he finally gives in to despair and gets reborn as Femto. Femto then proceeds to do some despicable acts that pretty much encapsulates the mature themes that Berserk has been known for. The intervention of the Skull Knight prevents things from getting even worse for Guts and Casca. It's good that he manages to arrive in time, as things were looking pretty bleak back then. Despite the sad news about Miura, I'm sure that Berserk will live on with its legacy and the number of works that have been inspired by it. How it's managed to do that, I would personally say, has a lot to do with the beautiful art, character writing, and gut-wrenching developments, some of them leading to chilling transformations like this one. Now, I don't think this is a surprising number 1. It's an easy decision to make, actually. I know mentor or big brother figure traitors are too rare in anime, but having those figures to be the most iconic enemies that kickstarted the series? Well, looks like the greatest enemy is within the ranks after all. After confiding with Eren, Reiner and Bertolt proceed to commit one of the biggest betrayals and reveals in modern anime. It's just an incredible and powerful scene. The music, the cinematography, and the voice acting are all just so perfect here. This transformation is a game changer in Attack on Titan, and that's why I place it as my number 1 villain transformation. The 2 didn't disappoint either, and the ultimate battles against them ended up being some of the most hyped fights in the entire run of Attack on Titan. With that, I end my list. Is there a transformation that you think I missed out on? Write it down in the comment section so I can check it out. Don't forget to check out our sponsors of this video, ExpressVPN. Bypass all those pesky region locks and even browse sites not available in your region with the ever-trusty ExpressVPN now. That wraps it up for this edition of ViniTube Lists. I'm signing off, and I hope to see you next time.